Pokemon cards just got a lot more expensive, and I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news. Hi, my name's Danny, and I am the owner of a Pokemon card shop in Canada. My 2,500 square foot shop specializes in Pokemon, but I'm also a full-fledged local card store, carrying a lot of Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Lorcana, and hosting all sorts of events weekly. I'm gonna preface this video by saying that this isn't really the type of content I usually make, but it affects most of you, so I wanna share what's going on. And that's the fact that if you collect any of the card games I mentioned previously, or sports cards and board games, your hobby just got a lot more expensive, as if it wasn't expensive enough already. So why are prices going up? Well, a few days ago, myself and thousands of other card store owners got a rather damning email from one of the largest distributors for board games and card games worldwide. I had heard rumors of this being a possibility from other distributors, but this email confirms that it's actually happening. As you may know, starting on March 4th, a trade war between the US and other countries like Canada, Mexico, and China has started. Now, this video isn't political. I'm not here to tell you who's right and who's wrong, but to tell you how this is going to affect all the collectors like you and me. So what does this mean? And does it only affect Canada? No, and I'll get to that later for my American friends. So, how does this affect trading cards? The price of Pokemon and Magic the Gathering has gone up 25% for all stores with distribution in Canada. The email states, due to these tariffs and despite them being put on hold, Canada has implemented a 25% retaliatory supplemental duty on certain products of US origin, which include trading card games such as Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. All major distributors in Canada get their products from the US. That cost is passed from distribution to the stores and then passed on to the consumers. That's how tariffs work. The consumer ends up paying in the end. Now, do you know what releases this month? Journey Together, a set that has already been criticized for being a higher cost than the other Scarlet Violet era sets. But how bad can it be? Let me share you some numbers. The MSRP for a booster box in Canada is $209.99 Canadian, which is roughly about 140 USD. Our dollar is very bad. That would be the price that you would pay on launch if you bought directly from Pokemon via the Pokemon Center. Generally, local card stores sell these below MSRP at launch, ranging from $179 to $199. But now, tariffs come into play, so the cost is 25% more at each stage of distribution. The MSRP for consumers just went from $209.99 to a whopping $262.50 for a single booster box, which is absolutely insane. ETBs just moved from $79.99 MSRP to $100 on release. For Magic, booster boxes already being over $200 just moved up another 25%. Imagine walking into your local card store and the cheapest pack is now $10. That's the new reality if these tariffs persist. Just to be clear here, this doesn't mean that stores are now making 25% more. Their cost is also 25% higher, so everybody loses. Now, what about stores in the US? If you live in the US, you might think that something like this won't affect you. But take a product like an ETB. Despite the cards being printed in the USA, certain components of the ETB are actually produced in China. And that's the case for a lot of different products. And China just got hit with new tariffs. The email reads, in addition, the United States have decided to impose a 20% supplemental tariff on products of China and imports into the United States. So in numbers, this means board games and card games have gone from 0% to 20%. Game mats have gone from 25% to 45%. Card sleeve and plastic deck boxes have gone from 12.8% to 32.8%. That means that no matter what you collect, your sleeves, your binders, your playmats, your deck boxes, all of the accessories just got more expensive. And this doesn't just affect small businesses. It also applies to big retailers like Walmart, Target, GameStop, basically everyone. The worst part is, we don't know how long this is gonna last. Every day, tariffs are being added, removed, increased, decreased. By the time you watch this, tariffs might be removed or doubled. It's simply not sustainable for stores and for consumers. So, what can you do? I don't want all of this video to be bad, so let's talk about solutions and things we can change. As a store owner, you know I'm already looking at ways to keep costs down, like importing products from elsewhere and diversifying what I carry. But for collectors, I often say this: consider buying more singles. If a booster box is really going to be that expensive, you might be better off picking out the cards you like from that set and just buying those cards individually. Before I end this video, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you for listening. And while the conversation is generally around scalpers or Pokemon not printing enough, this is something that's completely out of the control of regular people like you and I. And hopefully, all of this goes away soon and you can forget everything I just said.